me answering questions because there are very few details about HLVM. It's something I started about a year ago as a stepping stone towards another project that I'm working on called XPS. And you know, it's very early. So right now, there's nothing much there. It's a 0.2 release. We've got some bare bones stuff for this AST. Just really not much to it at this point. But there's lofty goals. So the purpose started out several years ago to be the front-end toolkit for LLVM. So just like what LLVM has now for target definition and passes and optimizations and an IR and all that stuff, we wanted to build a toolkit pretty much in the same kind of design philosophy for all the front-end things. So for lexing and parsing and abstract syntax, tree representation and code generation and documentation and the runtime system and all this other stuff that you typically need on the front end. We wanted to make developing new languages easy. You know, LLVM gives you sort of all the back-end guts. That's really a hard part of developing any compiler. We wanted to add something on top to just make it even that much easier. Okay? Basically, declarative. The idea is a declarative language for specifying what your language is going to be and how comes a compiler. We'll talk about that more. Support language with runtime compilation features. So if your language has an eval statement or any kind of compile it at runtime, JIT it, anything like that, you want to support those kind of languages. Provide language interoperation features. Part of the goal of creating this toolkit is to allow, to some extent, some interoperation between languages. So maybe if a language defines classes, you can get Ruby to talk to C++. Maybe. Depends on what the front end wants to specify and how far you want to go with that. It's a toolkit that should not prevent that and hopefully foster it. And then provide a robust virtual machine. I've been thinking that maybe this is a separate project, separate sub-project underneath the LLVM family of projects. Some rough features of what's in here. Something I call, for now, HLVM, which sounds kind of like something that can be bad in your cholesterol level, but high-level language definition language. And this is a very vague concept at this point. I'm trying to get to a level beyond YAC, okay, or beyond ANTLR, where declaratively you just say what your language is. It has classes. Here's the keyword for the class, introducing a class.
You're just talking about syntax at this point.
No, both syntax and semantics. Yeah. So, I'm not sure this is even doable. I don't even know if there's any research on this. But this is kind of the goal where we want to go. Just because I'm familiar with it, it's easy to make a parser for it. It's non-based language, much higher level than Flex or ANTLR. And one of the things here is that we're only targeting the AST, and that's one reason why I think this can be done, is because we know what the AST is, we know what the output looks like. Whereas in something like YAC, your output is C. And this just gives us some advantage in terms of having an AST that already represents most of the things in common programming language.
What about the XML-based declaration? If you're just already using something close to like list, where it's already in the form of, it's already essentially in a declarative form, and you don't have to parse it once. I mean,
perhaps. I'm willing to be convinced if that's the right solution. Like I said, this is just because I can make a fast parser out of it, and it's very regular. Not that this isn't. But if list turns out to be a better choice, then I'm open to be.
Not awful verbose.
What's that?
Not awful verbose.
Yeah.
Verbose is wasted verbosity.
Well, there's a difference between what people hack on and what the compiler interoperates with. And so if you're, you could imagine a front end for HLVM or something that actually generates the XML stuff for you, or a smart editor or something.
Yeah. I don't expect anybody to type this. Okay, that's another aspect of this. There would be some kind of front-end tool. It's just an interoperability.
Well, has been attempted using univocational semantics
Mhm.
quite a number of times. I don't know if any of them really succeeded.
No, that's why I sort of put that up there with some hesitation because it's something where we'd like to go, and how far we get down that path, I'm not sure. I haven't started here. This doesn't exist. Some other parts of it exist, but this is tricky stuff. Okay, so what is there is extensible abstract syntax tree, which right now supports all of the LLVM semantics. Well, most of them. Some of them need other stuff isn't put in there yet. But essentially what I'm trying to get here is something that's common across a group of languages. And not every language is going to use every feature of the AST. So for example, there might be something in the AST to represent, try-catch blocks that maybe C++ and Java could use, but C wouldn't use. Optional bidirectionality support languages, supports language conversion. I'm hoping that we can get language translators out of this as well. So, parsing one language into the AST, chuck it back out to a different language. C++ to Ruby, Ruby to C++, if it's possible. And again, these are just ideas and goals at this point. None of them exist. XML representation of the AST, again, that's just for interoperability. Built-in support for, so the kinds of things we're thinking about supporting at the AST level: threading, synchronization, continuations, closures, objects, memory management, input-output, probably a few other things. Bringing you up above the operating system level to sort of interoperability platform for platform independent runtime.
So Reid,
Yeah.
I understand they're just ideas and goals, but based on your slide, it seems like you're in the consulting business.
Yeah.
Are people asking you for some of this?
No. But if somebody wanted to, I'd be happy to. My consulting business has only recently started doing LLVM related things.
So why does it say confidential and proprietary on the bottom?
Because this is a slide I use for everything, and it's like, it's not, so just ignore that part. I'll take it off before I put it on the website. Normally when I go out and do consulting, what I'm doing is proprietary and confidential, so I just put that on every slide. It's in the master slide. Sorry. Design philosophy, much the same as LLVM, toolkit approach, small libraries, glue together what you want, pay for only what you use. Same kind of philosophy as LLVM. Some examples: the AST is designed for fast construction. Executables just make calls to libraries. The executables in HLVM will be just very similar to LLVM's. A few lines in the main, and that's it. Everything else is in the library. Your language doesn't have objects. Your runtime won't support objects linked in. So we'll actually use LLVM to optimize out the stuff that your language doesn't use out of the runtime. If you want to do it that way. Significant components. HLDLC, talked a little bit about that already. This would be a compiler for that language, and it's basically going to create a front-end translator, linking in parts of HLVM plus the specification for the language. Thought about adding some adapters just so that if you don't want to go this route, and maybe we can't go this route quickly, but this gets us up and running sooner. Essentially finding a way to use Antler and or YAG-LEX and creating a set of libraries that would produce the abstract syntax tree easier. And again, these are really big concepts at this point.